I hesitated before making this video. Mallorca is one of the most visited islands in Europe, and you feel that almost immediately when you arrive in peak season. Beaches fill up, roads slow down. Some locals have become vocal about over-tourism, but people keep coming. And maybe the problem isn't visitors themselves, but how we approach places like this. So this isn't a guide about the best anything. It's just a clear look at what Mallorca is like right now, and a reminder to avoid the island during peak season if you don't like the crowds. In the north of the island, near Alcúdia, you'll find one of Mallorca's longest sandy coastlines. Playa de Muro and Playa de Alcúdia stretch for several kilometers along the Bay of Alcúdia. The sand is soft, the water is shallow, and the shoreline slopes gently, which makes it especially popular with families. It's easy to access, easy to swim, and well connected to hotels and restaurants. This area is clearly built around tourism. Large resorts line parts of the beach, and in July and August it gets busy. Parking near the main entrances fills up early, and by midday, the central sections are crowded. A few kilometers inland, the old town of Alcúdia feels completely different. The historic center is surrounded by medieval walls that date back to the 14th century. Inside the walls, narrow stone streets form a compact grid, with small cafes and local shops tucked between sandstone buildings. There are also Roman ruins nearby, a reminder that this area has been inhabited for more than 2,000 years. And if you walk farther along the shoreline, away from the main access points, the atmosphere becomes noticeably calmer. Not empty, but less concentrated. Palma is shaped by layers of history, from Roman foundations to Islamic rule, and later Christian reconquest. The cathedral, its most iconic landmark, began construction in 1229 and took several centuries to complete. The building stands directly beside the Mediterranean, giving it one of the most striking urban settings in Spain. Step behind the cathedral, and Palma changes character. The old town reveals narrow lanes, hidden courtyards known as patios, and buildings constructed from golden sandstone. However, this is also where tourism concentrates. Cruise passengers often fill the center during peak hours, and some streets cater heavily to visitors. If you want balance, explore early in the morning, or return in the evening when residents fill the squares, and the city feels more lived in than photographed. On the southeast coast, Cala Major offers a different beach experience. Instead of one long stretch of sand, you'll find a series of small coves carved into the coastline. Cala Gran, Cala Esmeralda, smaller spaces, surrounded by whitewashed buildings and pine trees. The town itself was developed with tourism in mind, but the coves are small. That means they reach capacity quickly in peak season. Close to Palma, Cala Major is one of the most accessible beaches on the island. It's a small urban beach, located just west of the capital. You'll see apartment buildings and hotels around it. It gets crowded in summer afternoons. On the northwest coast, the island changes dramatically. Serra de Tramuntana mountain range stretches about 90 kilometers and was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2011 for its cultural landscape. Winding roads cut through terraced hillsides. Olive trees, some centuries old, grow between dry stone walls. Villages like Valldemossa and Sóller sit along the slopes, drawing steady day trip traffic. They are scenic, but rarely quiet in summer afternoons. Still, this is where Mallorca feels less like a resort island and more like a historic Mediterranean landscape. Mallorca's coastline stretches for more than 500 kilometers, and the island has over 200 officially recognized beaches and coves. Cala Major gets busy on a sunny day in July. The photos online often don't show the parking lot or the number of towels on the beach. Some are small, like Cala Figuera and Cala Twent. The island's popularity is visible on its beaches. In July and August, many of the well-known spots reach capacity before midday. Access roads become congested, and parking can be limited. Drone footage often captures the water, but not the density of towels on the shore. Mallorca's beaches are genuinely scenic, but they are rarely secluded in peak season. Adjusting expectations will help. Going there outside of the peak season, like in May or September, will definitely improve your experience. Tourism supports a large part of Mallorca's economy. At the same time, it has changed the island significantly. You might see protest signs, graffiti calling for limits on tourism, conversations about housing and sustainability. As a visitor, you won't solve that tension, but you can be aware of it. Support local businesses. Travel outside peak season. Mallorca is not untouched. It's not a secret. It's not undiscovered. It's one of Europe's most established island destinations. But beyond the resort zones and crowded beaches, there is still depth here. Mountains that feel far from the coast. Villages with real history. A capital city with character. If you come expecting solitude in August, you'll be disappointed. If you come understanding what Mallorca is and plan accordingly, it can be a rewarding place to explore.